All right, today's lesson is about uppercase and lowercase letters in English. This is a basic level skill, however, this is something that we often see from students even in the intermediate and advanced levels. So in English, it's important to remember that each letter of the alphabet changes in form or shape. It also changes in size for capital letters. So the two important things to think about when you're thinking about your letters are form or shape and also size. Many students remember to change the form, but then later they forget to change the size. Or some students change the size, but they do not change the form. So when you are making lowercase or small letters and uppercase or large letters, capital letters, you need to change both the shape and the size for most letters. There are a few letters in English that do not change shape, and when they do not change shape, it is extra important to make sure that you change the size. So here we have an example of a basic English alphabet practice. If we look at the first line, we can see that the small a, it has a circle shape and a tail, and the large A has a triangle shape. So we can see this change in the form or the shape, but another important part that many students forget is that the tall A should be twice as large as the small a. Here we see this imaginary halfway line. This line does not actually appear on most lined paper. When people are children, we often get this kind of paper with this halfway line so that we can practice our handwriting. But most lined paper does not have this line. However, even without this line, we should be able to see that the A, the capital A, is 2 times as big as the smaller case a. With the B, we can also see that it changes form, it changes shape. At the same time, it's important to notice that this capital B should be twice as big as this circle in the small b. It should have 2 of the circles in it. It should be twice as tall, 2 times as tall. C is one of those letters which does not change shape. It does not change form. And therefore, the C is very important to remember to change size. The capital C should be twice as big as a small c is. It should also be twice as big as a small a. If you write the word cat, C-A-T, at the beginning of a sentence, the C should be 2 times as big as the A that comes after it. With D, we see a change in shape. It should also be 2 times as big as the circle part in the small d. E also changes shape and size. F also changes shape, but it does not change size as much. It is interesting because many times students try to write the small f in just half of the space, but actually the small f has a different shape, but it should be nearly as tall or as tall as the capital F. The difference in the F is the shape, not the size. You can see that the small f has a curve here, or many people even exaggerate that more and they make it more of a hook. So it goes top to bottom. G changes shape and size. One important thing that many students forget is that the tail of the G should go below the line. It should not sit on the line. So many times we see students write lowercase g like this. But that is incorrect because the tail should go below the line. So I'm going to erase that. The tail should go below with the circle on the line, just like the circle on the line for the D and for the B and for the A and the shape of the E. H changes shape. It does not change size, or it should be close to the same size, or it could go all the way from the top line to the bottom line. So with this one, the important part is the shape and not the size. I changes shape and size. J changes shape a little bit, but the important thing is that the tail should be below the line. The tail should be below the line, just like the tail of the G. If you put the J on the line, it looks like a capital J. With the letter K, it changes shape just a little bit, but it doesn't change size as much. With the K, it's actually just this part that changes size, not the full letter. So we can see a capital K has all of the pieces from the top to the bottom. The lowercase k, this line can go top to bottom, or it can be a little bit less, and this little part should only be half size. With L, with the L, we change both shape and size a little bit. With M, we change shape and size. With N, we change shape and size. With O, we do not change shape. And so therefore, O is very important. It is very important to remember the size of the O when you write a capital O. If you begin a sentence with the word on, O-N, your O should be 2 times as big as your small n after it. P also does not change shape. It changes a little bit because this tail should go below the line. If you put the P on the line, it is actually a capital P, and therefore it is not correct if it is in the middle of a word. Like the word apple, A-P-P-L-E. If you put the P's on the line, that would be incorrect. Therefore, you need to make sure your P goes below the line. Q changes shape and size, and let's remember that the tail should be below the line. R changes shape and size. S does not change shape, so it is extra important to remember to change the size of the S. A capital S should be 2 times as big as most of the small letters that might come after it. T changes shape and size. U does not really change shape. This one has a small tail and the other doesn't, but the size is the important thing that changes. V is the same way. The V, the size is the important change. And W as well is important to remember the size changes for the capital W versus the small w. X, Y, and Z. X does not change shape, therefore we must remember to change the size. Y changes shape just a little bit, but the really important thing is the size changes and the tail of the small y should be below the line. And Z does not change shape, but it does change size. So if we review, there are some letters that do not change shape, however, they do change size. And it's important to remember that C, O, S, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z all need to change size when you write a capital letter. Let's take a look at a few examples. If we look at this student example, in this student example, we can see that this sentence begins with an S. However, this S is the same size or nearly the same size as this O. Therefore, it is incorrect. The correct way to write this S would be it should be 2 times as big as the O, at least. So I should be able to fit 2 O's into this S. It should be twice as big as the O next to it. If we look at another student example, here we can see that this sentence begins with a G. This G is not bad. It has the correct shape. It's a little bit bigger than this O, but I think it could be even bigger to make it very clear that we can fit 2 of those O's into that G. If we look further down, we see that this sentence begins with an S. However, this S is not 2 times as big. It's just a little bit bigger than this O. It's just a little bit bigger than this C. Therefore, it's not noticeable that it is a capital letter. It should be twice as big as the O next to it.